Both my parents were teachers, all growing up. I lived the life of a teacher's child. And it was hard in many ways because my parents were always, helping others. But at the same time, it was very inspiring to see how many students, after they graduated would come up to my parents in the grocery store, at a concert, whatever, and say, oh, you were the best teacher I ever had, or you helped me so much, or, because of you, I, went on and did this in my life. And that was always very inspiring to me. And I don't think it was a conscious thing that I thought, okay, well, I want to be like that, but somewhere the message must have stuck. And at some point in my life, I just couldn't imagine doing anything else. Well, what I teach is a little bit unusual. I teach the ancient classical world. So I teach Latin and a class called Roman technology, in which we reproduce the products and processes of the ancient Romans through experimental archaeology. And so to find inspiring new projects, I always look to people who practice experimental archaeology. These are people like Legio 20 in Washington, D.C. It's a group of reenactors who come together regularly to try to recreate the life of ancient Roman soldiers. And so they come up with all kinds of, interesting hands-on activities that just really inspire me to want to do with my own students. I was in elementary school and middle school, and then subsequently, all the way through school, I was involved in two organizations that really helped to mold me as someone who wanted to instruct others. And those were Girl Scouts and 4-H. Both of those organizations are big into leadership, and I learned the craft of teaching others in those organizations. And I encourage you, if you want to practice teaching others or interacting with children in positive ways, either to volunteer in those organizations or to become a member yourself. You'll learn a ton about all kinds of things, but most importantly, you'll learn some leadership skills that will certainly serve you as a teacher if you ever decide to become one. Absolute biggest guilty pleasure in life is traveling. I love to travel with my family and friends, and my family right now is on a mission to visit every national park that we possibly can in the United States. We've done a lot of them, and just recently, before the pandemic hit us and basically shut down our travels, very sad for that, we visited Alabama and went to the Tuskegee Airmen National Historic Site about the World War II veterans, African-American veterans who flew in the war for our country and were not really honored as they should have been. I grew up in Avoyelles Parish, which is the top of what we call the Cajun Triangle in Louisiana. My grandmother grew up as a child in southern Louisiana from Larose and Cut Off, not even speaking English. She spoke only French. And she told me a story that really resonated with me as a child. And that is, when she went to school, she was not allowed to speak French, her native language, and in fact was spanked if she ever got caught speaking French at her school. And that just really, it makes me realize how much of a melting pot Louisiana is, and all the wonderful cultures that come together here and exist, together, trying to get through this crazy time. And I just take inspiration from the resilience that something like that must have taken to survive. And I think back to that and try to summon that strength in myself during this unprecedented, difficult time.